Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Happy holidays. Hopefully you've had a chance to see Star Wars by now. This is going to be my Q&A video. It will be spoilery, so just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the movie yet. So much awesome stuff to talk about, so let's get to it. Shino Beakage asks, who would you say your favorite villain in the movie is so far? I would definitely say Kylo Ren, just because he's like a more complex version of Anakin. You get the sense that he still has a long way to go before he's completely fallen to the dark side, even though he thinks that he's completely there. You get this definite sense that he could fly apart at any moment. In fact, Adam Driver was actually kind of poking fun at his lightsaber just a little bit. Like, you get the sense that his lightsaber could blow up at any minute. It's completely unstable, just like Kylo Ren's personality. Rewind to the original trilogy, just imagine what it would have been like seeing the movie from Vader's perspective. We're going to get a chance to see a version of that. Now obviously there are a lot of other main characters that the movie's perspective is going to be told from, like Rey's character, probably the next biggest protagonist, her and Kylo Ren. So the trilogy is going to be fairly balanced between the two of them, but you get a much deeper dive into what's going on inside his headspace than you ever did with Vader. Next question, Uncle Jerry asks, can someone explain why Luke has a metal hand since at the end of Empire he has a real-looking prosthetic hand? I think J.J. Abrams just wanted it to feel more tactile. Like, I think if they'd gone with a human-looking hand, it would have been harder to tell that he had a fake hand if you hadn't watched the movies before. And there are a lot of people that are seeing Star Wars for the first time. You also get the sense when you see that metal hand that some real big shit has gone down, like maybe something stripped away all the parts that were covering it. So it's just another way to show the passage of time, like a bunch of stuff has happened that we haven't seen, we're just led to believe that shit has gone down. I may have already mentioned it, but it's the same deal with C-3PO's red arm. Like, it's just meant to show the passage of time, like seeing new scars on people that you haven't seen in a while. Next question, Zach's Mind asks, is BB-8 a girl or a guy? I thought she was a girl, but in interviews, John Boyega said that she's a guy. So a lot of people are confused about this. Now obviously a droid does not have gender. It just has gender in the way you describe it, like you use male pronouns or female pronouns. That's what everyone's talking about. Originally, J.J. Abrams pitched the idea of having a female gendered droid, like one that felt like it had female personality. But I think once they started making it, it started to bleed away a little bit. And for whatever reason, I haven't really heard it explained in great detail. The characters in the movie speak to it using male pronouns. So the characters in the movie itself, like Poe Dameron, Rey, they gender it male. So maybe it's just something that happened on set whenever they were filming and J.J. Abrams decided not to change it. Next question, Mark asks, anyone think that Rey could be Luke's daughter? Yeah, definitely a lot of people think that. There are a couple of clear choices depending on, what you think J.J. Abrams' intentions were. He did this interview with fellow screenwriter, producer Simon Kinberg, so I'm just going to play this clip. It's all about the simplicity of the narrative.
One of the things that was really important, I know for us in this movie was very purposely going backwards to go forwards and to embrace, like literally a structure, finding a character in the desert, ending with a trench run, do something that felt very much a very purposeful step backwards in order to tell a brand new story with brand new characters. And clarity of story was really important. There's so many movies, some of which I find wildly entertaining and love, but that have very confusing plot lines. And I kind of love those things, but this one I knew couldn't be that. And I inspired by this opportunity to do this movie, working with you and this amazing crew, I tried to stretch a little bit and apply different. It was a different master to serve. And knowing that Star Wars is a kids movie without being a kids movie, I didn't want it to be too convoluted. So a lot of it was like about clarity, just visual clarity, and knowing where you were going, knowing that Starkiller Base was always off to the right, knowing that the lines of action and making sure that things felt consistent. So sometimes I'd show up on set, and I'd have an intention, and then I'd realize that it wasn't quite working for what this movie required.
So basically what he's saying there is that he tried to make the movie easy to follow, like a movie for children that is watched by adults. So given that, I don't think there's any trickery that's going on. I think that she's probably going to end up being Luke's daughter. But he also talked about leaving certain things open-ended for future filmmakers to deal with. So like if Rian Johnson wants to go in a different direction, they probably left that option open. Now obviously the Lucasfilm story group controls everything from above, so they've probably already settled on who they want Rey's parents to be. The real question is why did Luke decide to have a child and who was her mother? That's probably going to be the bigger question, and why is she not around? It's kind of funny because some of my original theories were EU heavy. After I saw the movie the first time, I had to go see it again and then read some of the interviews that J.J. Abrams was doing, and I was like, oh, he really wanted to make it easy to follow. So, okay, very clearly overthinking this, probably going to be Luke Skywalker. Next question, CJ Neff asks, Rey was totally my favorite, but my question is, who is Captain Phasma? Is she like the new Jango Fett of the series, or is she just a captain that keeps the troopers in line? Well, she's actually a very interesting character, just not one that we explored in this movie. They did say she's going to be bigger in episode 8. One of the most interesting things about Phasma is that she has a name. She doesn't go by a designation like Finn did. So usually what happens is when they cast actors for roles that are kind of mysterious like this, the actor still has to develop a character based on something. So Gwendolyn Christie probably created a lot of her backstory in her mind when she went into it. But in the most literal of terms, we'll probably just see more scenes with her in present day during the movies. We'll probably learn more about her backstory in novels. That's like, perfect territory for novels to explore. But even if you haven't read any of the EU novels, just think about the role of women in the Empire. Like, the Emperor was notoriously racist and notoriously sexist. So to be a woman of authority in the Empire meant that you had to work twice as hard as everyone else. So just think about how much of a badass Phasma has to be to rise to the rank of captain and sound like she hasn't been conditioned. Like, it doesn't seem like she's gone through the Imperial conditioning that all the stormtroopers have. But from a story perspective, she's kind of a blank slate for future directors to mess around with. Like, they're going to have a lot of fun with her in episode 8 and episode 9. Hopefully she'll make it to episode 9. But next question, North Pole asks, my big question at the end, what happened to Captain Phasma? So, Captain Phasma, General Hux, Kylo Ren, they all made it off the planet at the end. It's just, one of the conceits of trying to move the story along without being able to show every single thing. It's like watching the ships travel through hyperspace. It almost seems like it takes no time at all to get different places in the galaxy. It's just because they want to speed the plot along. It's like, yeah, we know we're traveling there, so let's just get there. So Phasma, Hux, Kylo Ren, all the most important characters made it off the planet in time. Next question, this is a big one. Willis asks, question going in, who the F is the First Order? Question coming out, who the F is the First Order? So we actually do know quite a bit, but the problem is that you had to have read some of the expanded material. So here's what's going on in the galaxy. The Empire falls after the Battle of Jakku. That was like one of the last big battles between the Rebellion and the Empire. The Rebellion becomes the New Republic, which then, kind of goes on to stagnate a little bit, a lot of infighting, deciding what they should be doing. While that's going on, the remnants of the Empire collect in the Outer Rim and decide to form the First Order. So General Leia sees this happening and tells the New Republic, look, the Empire is just turning into something different. We need to pay attention to this. We need to deal with it. But the New Republic Senate kind of descended into internal politicking and bickering and really just started spinning its wheels. So Leia is like, look, let me take a small force and go deal with this, but we need support. So they kind of address this during the movie where General Hux calls out the New Republic for supporting the Resistance and kind of calls them out as being like terrorists. So the Resistance, as you see it in the movie, is like a small splinter cell of the New Republic that's being funded secretly by the New Republic. And that's one of the reasons why you don't see Y-Wings or B-Wings or any other types of ships, because the Resistance is way smaller than the original Rebellion. The original Rebellion is what became the New Republic, which has now been destroyed. Next question though, Quackmayer asks, is J.J. Abrams coming back for the sequels? Well, he's coming back as producer, but the person that's writing episode 8 and episode 9 is Rian Johnson. He's directing episode 8, and then the person that directed Jurassic World is directing episode 9. So different people for episode 8 and 9, but Abrams is still coming back as creative consultant. Next question though, Oscar asks, I thought that Vader destroyed Anakin's lightsaber in episode 5. Well, it fell down one of the chutes with Luke's hand. They actually deal with it in some of the expanded universe comics, in the Dark Empire comic. Technically, it's not canon anymore, so Maz Kanata will probably have some crazy explanation in episode 8, how she found it. But what happened is, Luke falls down the shaft and he gets shunted out and the Millennium Falcon picks him up. Well, his hand and the lightsaber just went down different chutes. So presumably some work crew that was cleaning some of those chutes out just found it and it, passed hands into a bunch of smugglers and then eventually found its way to Maz Kanata. But in case there's any confusion, the lightsaber that Rey is using is the lightsaber that was given to Luke by Obi-Wan Kenobi that originally belonged to Anakin Skywalker, the one that Anakin Skywalker built first, before he became Darth Vader and constructed a new red lightsaber. Next question, another big one. Robel asks, is Finn going to be a Jedi or what? I think this is one of those questions that they don't necessarily want to answer, or maybe haven't figured out, but As he's presented in this movie, it seems like they just want him to seem like someone who's very noble, like Han Solo, someone who could pick up a lightsaber, but maybe not someone who's destined to be the same type of Jedi that Rey is. Really, I think they left it open-ended so that they can change their minds later if they want. Like, if they want the character to be like Leia and be presented with that choice where it's like, yeah, you're Force sensitive, but you have to choose the Jedi path if you want to hone those skills. Just speaking from a real-world example, everybody that John Boyega has been running into has been calling him a Jedi. So I think that even celebrities in Hollywood, like Mace Windu himself, Samuel L. Jackson, called him a Jedi. So I think everyone wants Finn to be a Jedi, and I don't think there's anything right now saying that he will never become a Jedi. At least not absolutely. Next question, Etzlo asks, why the F would you only use a single shield for such a huge base that can easily be disabled as well? Like, WTF, where's the logic in that? So I picked this question just as an example for J.J. Abrams saying that he wanted to make the plot super easy to follow just because so many little children were going. I mean, it's a movie made for children but enjoyed by adults. So if you're wondering why the movie didn't seem more complex or like the narrative didn't seem more convoluted, it's just that he wanted this movie in particular to be easy to follow because it's all about showing the fandom that they have respect for the material and they're going to do something good. And it is a good movie. I'd still say my favorite is Empire because it's a smaller character-based movie, but there were so many things that they had to accomplish with Episode 7 that I feel like they hit all the bases, they did what they needed to do. So now we can get really excited for Rian Johnson to do something crazy with Episode 8 or, Episode 9 to turn into something really wild. I am so excited to see some pictures come from the set of Episode 8. I can't wait to see material start coming in the next couple months. But congratulations to the giveaway winner, Jacob Karuna. You win 2 IMAX gift certificates. Just be sure to private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact info. And I'll keep doing Star Wars giveaways as I do Star Wars bonus videos. So no worries, plenty more Star Wars giveaways coming. My next Star Wars video is probably going to be like a bonus video for some of the characters. Let me know who you want me to do first. Do you want me to do like a Rey video or do you want me to do Kylo Ren? Like one of those two. Those are my 2 favorites to come out of the movie. While you guys wait for my next video to post, I did a big Easter egg video for all the cameos in the movie, a ton of Game of Thrones actors. You can click here to learn all about that, and you can click here for my Game of Thrones Dance of the Dragons trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody, let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.